is, social media, everything
else?
It's
just my name, Sam Morril. The shows have been, I'm a little sick, but even last night was killer. They sold out, amazing. So come out, get your tickets fast.
No, your voice, I mean, it already was deep, but it sounds, I think, maybe even better when you're
I'm like a private eye now, man. This is crazy.
Sam Morril, everyone. We'll take a quick break. We'll come on back on Sports Byline.
How many of us have looked at our finances and screamed, how can we make this much and still have so much debt? It just creeps up on us, right? Unexpected repairs, replace the washer and dryer, medical bills, and the killer, those insane interest credit cards you had to use to pay for it. Here's a really smart move that could help you get on top of your finances. Get a fixed-rate personal loan at bestegg.com. The rates are great right now. Imagine finally being able to pay down those crazy high credit cards and bills and then bank the money you save each month. Consumers have rated Best Egg 4.8 out of 5 stars on Consumer Affairs because of the super easy online loan app that takes about a minute with no impact to your credit score. Upon approval, funds can be deposited in as little as 1 business day. Get your bills under control, bank what you save, and take control of your finances with a loan from bestegg.com. Visit bestegg.com/plan. bestegg.com/plan. bestegg.com/plan.
The backyard's looking great, Rob.
Thanks, man. I was planning on adding a deck, too. Know any good contractors?
Why don't you just ask Home Advisor?
Home what?
HomeAdvisor.com. You just tell them about your project and they match you with local pros that can do the job.
Nice. Now, how much does it cost?
Oh, Home Advisor's totally free to use. Plus, you can read customer reviews, check pricing, and book appointments for free.
What's the website again?
HomeAdvisor.com. Or just download the free Home Advisor app.
Home Advisor.
Attention to anyone that's written a book or wants to write a book. The process is not that complicated. Take a first step. Even if you write a page a day, you'll build momentum and your book will become a reality. The hard part is getting it published. That's when you need to call Page Publishing. They've got hundreds and hundreds of thank yous from different new authors, just like you. They make the process of publishing your new book and getting it sold online a simple process. You can learn how simple it is right now by calling for your free Page Publishing new author submission kit. One quick 3-minute phone call, that's all it takes to get free information and learn how you can get your book published. Pick up your phone right now and call us 24 hours a day at this number. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. That's 800-603-0885.
At Indeed, we believe a resume is a great way to see an overview of a candidate, but you're not hiring a resume, you're hiring a person. That's why we offer tools to give you a deeper sense of the people behind the paper, like skill tests, which let you actually see a candidate's abilities in action to make sure they're a good fit for the job. See beyond the resume with Indeed. Increase your visibility to great candidates with the free sponsored job upgrade on your first job posting at Indeed.com/promo. The sponsored job upgrade is a $50 sponsored job credit. Users are charged once the credit is spent or it expires. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Can I be real with you right now? I mean, like, really, really real?
Yes.
I just thought about going out there for the second half, and a little bit of pee came out.
Rick Tittle, you done broke my heart, but I still take you back. You hella fine.
I think you should shut up. That's what I think. Ooh, ooh. Sorry. Welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you. And there's open lines the rest of the way here. We got 20 minutes or so of y'alls and your calls and get in the queue. We'll talk to you and all that other good stuff. By the way, I will be on KQED 88.5 FM at 1:30 today if you're interested. So you can come on in and hear me talk about some Sharkies over there. Yeah, that's right. I said some Sharkies. It's always fun going to San Jose Shark games. And it's the Stanley Cup playoffs. Of course, you just ratchet it up even more. And the results last night in games one, I should say. Blue Jackets beat the Lightning 4-3. How about that, Tampa? The Islanders beat the Pens in OT. How about that, Pittsburgh? The Blues beat the Jets 2-1. The Stars beat the Preds 3-2, and then the Sharks took care of the Golden Knights 5-2. And as I say, I love going to those Sharks games and getting a press credential and then going down and to talk to the players after. And the first goal scored in the game was off the jaw of the team captain, Joe Pavelski. I always, it's funny, during the national anthem, and there's two American teams, so there's no Canadian national anthem. But I was thinking about how many Americans are out there. And usually it's just Pavelski, Sometimes it's maybe a Justin Braun, but, it's mostly Canadians or Scandinavians or, Slavs. They're so slobby. Them Slavs. But he took it off the face, and blood's everywhere, and he just kind of went like, and he skated off the ice, and that was it. And then he came back, I don't know, about 20 minutes later. And you you think about the fact that I've always said it, there's tough, and then there's hockey tough. And after the game, I stood right in front of him, and his lower mouth was all swollen, and there was blood coming out. And people said, "How many teeth did you lose?" He goes, "Couple." Like, "How many?" He goes, "A couple." And then one guy said, "How do you humanly possible get back in front of the net after something like that happens?" Pavelski is like, "Because we like playing hockey." It's a pretty stupid question, I have to say. It's like something so traumatic. I can't do it. It's like asking a baseball player, "You got hit by a pitch. How can you possibly stand out there again?" But yeah, a couple of teeth got knocked out. NFL players, your teeth got knocked out, they'd be like, they'd cry their way all the way to the emergency dental surgeon. They just would. But the atmosphere was cool. I mean, after the game, I asked DeBoer, the head coach of the Sharks, about how it got a little complicated in the second period. I mean, at one point we had a 4-on-3, and then we had a 4-on-4, and then they were finally at equal strength at a 5-on-5, and then the refs kept going over to DeBoer. I could see DeBoer yelling the F word at him. So I said, "Were you satisfied with their explanations?" And he said, "No coach is ever satisfied with any explanations," which I thought was a pretty good answer. But I will say this about Gallant, the head coach of Vegas. He got out of Dodge real quick. In fact, his press conference is over and we're still in the Sharks dressing room. He just was boom. Evander Kane spoke, and it was funny to see the interviews. Like, I remember when they used to have Antti Niemi, there would always be a Finnish reporter. And he'd be like, "Who is good?" And there's a Swedish reporter now for Erik Karlsson, and they're like, "Here. And then there's, I guess, a Swiss guy for Timo Meyer, because it's like, "Die Mannschaft and sie heute Abend at the hockey." It's a very international sport. The only other sport that's like that is soccer. So really nothing like that here. But a nice little start. And, we all know the Sharks are probably going to move on or not move on Martin Jones. His save percentage was, what, 896? And don't think of saves per game, because you could have a game where your defense only allows 12 shots, and you could have a game where they could literally allow 40 shots. It's percentage. And think about this. If you're under 900, that means that you stink. That means you're supposed to stop 9 out of 10 shots. And if you don't, that's bad. So Martin Jones has stepped up in the playoffs, but who's ever stepped up more than Fleury has? So it's an interesting matchup. The expensive addition Stone scored after it got 3-0, and then it kind of gave Vegas hope, but an empty netter from Tomas Hertl brought the W home. And I'll be heading down there tomorrow night for Game 2. Looking around the league, how about Miro Heiskanen, a Dallas Stars rookie defenseman? One hell of a playoff debut last night. Scored twice. And very important, as I said, to push the team to a 3-2 win. And this guy, 19 years old, it's amazing what he did. And then you think about the trade deadline acquisition of bringing in Matt Zuccarello. He was the guy that got the third. So while Dirk was crying in San Antonio for Dallas fans, they were watching that game at home. And then Nashville's 2 goals came from defense. There was does anybody ever surprise when PK Subban scores or when Roman Josi scores? I know I'm not. Those guys are silky smooth all the way. And then you look at a guy like Jason Dickinson, and you could say, welcome to the playoffs, Jason Dickinson. And at Hockey Fights is a Twitter, and it just shows Brian Boyle going into Jason Dickinson for a collision, and it's perfectly legal. It was just elbow and shoulder right in the chest and the chin, just kaboom. And you could say he wasn't looking, but it can happen. Speaking of Preds and Mavs, Stars. And then how about the Isles? Because you think about losing Tavares, they bring in Barry Trotz. All he did was, of course, win the Stanley Cup for Washington and then was surplus to requirements. And then he goes into the Islanders, and not only did they make the playoffs, but they are hosting Pittsburgh. And I was talking before the game to some hockey people there, and I said, what the Islanders did was great, but we kind of just expected Pittsburgh to rise up like they always do. And it was out there in Nassau because there was a game at the Barclays Center. That's where Dwayne Wade was being feted. But the Islanders got on the board an early snipe from Tomas Kuhnhackl, and that was a guy who went through 5 Pittsburgh defenders. It was a pretty cool play. But those defensive issues persisted, and then the Isles got on the board. It was Jordan Eberle left wide open in front of the net. And this is, Jordan Eberle, I thought, was a guy that was going to be in Edmonton for a long time. And then it was Brock Nelson who was on the left in front of his own, and it's as Eberle with the assist there. So the Penguins, tried to clean things up, and they actually got some clutch scoring from their defense. They got Justin Schultz with a seeing eye slapper, and then a pass was screened when Robin Lehner tied the game. So then we got our first overtime of the postseason. But it was the Islanders who would go home happy. Matt Barzal, he showed off his patience and carved his way to the net, and then had the helper to Josh Bailey's winner. And that's one thing, when you do all the work, somebody still has to score, obviously. And then you look at St. Louis and Winnipeg. I was talking with Bruce Marshall, of course, yesterday. We were doing our hockey segment from the Gold Sheet in Vegas. We were doing a little preview. And I said, as much as I want to pick the Jets, I don't want to write off the Blues, but I am, and I was going to pick Winnipeg. So the Blues did manage to steal Game 1 in Manitoba, and some real clutch late efforts because they were locked in a 1-1 defensive battle, and then Tyler Bozak managed to get that game-winning goal just over 2 minutes back in the game. But then the Jets nearly bounced back and tied the game in the final minute. But it was the rookie for St. Louis, Jordan Binnington, made an incredible save in his first playoff start. I mean, there was an open net, and he just did the splits. Just one more note about last night's game with the Sharkies.